My name is Thea, 34 years old. Mothers are supposed to love their children unconditionally. That's what I knew when I was young. It was a universal truth, and everyone talked about it like it was a fact. So when my mom, Carol, abandoned me and my brother Keith, we were pretty shattered. For years we simply couldn't believe the fact that our mom left. It was just 4 days after our father died from cancer. Keith was 10 years old, and I was 9 when it happened. We watched our dad suffer and wither away from the deadly disease. In fact, we were the ones who saw him take his last breath. He kissed us on our heads and told us that he loved us. We were devastated. Naturally, we looked up to our mom for comfort. Unfortunately for us, she was not going to be there. After my father's funeral, we had all gathered for his will to be read. In the will, it was said that the house we lived in would go to me and Keith, but the 70,000 square foot of land that he had would be my mom's. Our mom heard this bit, gave a cheeky smile, and simply walked out of the room, looking happy. We were all dumbstruck by her behavior. Since she left us at the funeral home, our Uncle Hudson dropped us at the house. As soon as the 3 of us walked in, we saw that Mom was packing her bags. I said, "Mom, why are you packing your bags? Are we going somewhere?" "No, dear. You are not going anywhere. I am the one who is leaving." "Mom, what are you saying? Going where? Why can't we come with you?" "Well, your father is dead, so there is no reason for me to stay around. I'm off to find a new husband." "Carol, what is wrong with you? Do you even know what you're saying? The kids are right here." "Oh, stop it, Hudson. I don't care if they listen. They need to know that I'm going to start a new life. They can't have any expectations of me anymore." "You can't just leave your kids, Carol. They need you." "Mom, don't leave us. What did we do wrong?" "Your mere existence is going to be a problem to me, dear. No one wants a woman with baggage. So before you become a burden to me, I am leaving." Keith and I were crying our eyes out. We were begging Mom to not leave us. We were prepared to do everything for her. However, Mom kept packing and calling us burdens. Hudson had enough of her cruel attitude. He sent us to our rooms and talked to her. However, even he couldn't stop her from leaving. She was gone within the next week, leaving us all alone with no means to look after ourselves. We just woke up in the morning and saw that she was gone. Hudson went over to the neighbor's house to tell them what had happened. He called Hudson, and he came over as soon as possible. He hugged us and said, "I am so sorry, kids. We tried everything to contact your mom. I think she changed her number. But don't worry, I will do my best to bring her back." "Did we do something wrong, Uncle?" "She said she left because of us. She said we are burdens to her. She also said she doesn't love us anymore." "No, my child. It's not your fault. This is all on your mom. Don't ever blame yourselves for this." It was easy to say what Hudson said. Me and Keith were young, so Mom's words stayed with us. We kept blaming ourselves for the longest time. When it became clear that Mom had moved to a different country and had no intentions of coming back, Hudson became our guardian. He was a bachelor, but changed his lifestyle to accommodate us. He even sold his house and moved into Dad's house to look after us. Mom never came back. Hudson, after going to hell and heaven, was able to get Mom to terminate her rights. He adopted us and brought us up as his own. He even refused to get married because everyone he dated didn't want us in their new family. So, he chose to stay single for us. Hudson also took care of us out of his own pocket. Even after we turned 18, he didn't abandon us. He paid for our college and made sure we had all the things we needed. By the time we were teens, both Keith and I started to resent our mother. We remembered how mean she was to Dad when he was sick. We also remembered how she left us to fend for ourselves when Dad was in the hospital. It's not like she went to be with Dad. She was actually secretly cheating on him. We found her old laptop that had all the evidence of her affairs. We wanted nothing to do with her. Not that she contacted us ever again. It would be another 25 years before we finally saw her. By then, both I and Keith were married and well settled in life. One day, Hudson called us over to the house and asked to talk. He said, "I have some news for you, kids. Your mom is back in town." "What? Are you kidding me? How did you know?" "She called me and told me herself. She arrived yesterday. Apparently she was here to tie up some loose ends from her inheritance. Wait, what does that even mean? I think she's after the land that was promised in your dad's will. We couldn't believe our ears. Knowing that Mum was in the city was like a punch in the gut. Keith and I were angry and confused. Hudson continued to say, "It doesn't end there, kids. She said she wants to meet the two of you. I'm not surprised since she doesn't want anything to do with me. There is no way we will meet her. She doesn't get to make these demands after 25 years. I'm sure she wants something from us. Wait, still after the 70,000 land? Is she stupid?" "Yes to both questions, son. She still thinks that the land is hers. I was thinking perhaps it's time you guys see her. You'll get some closure and hopefully have some fun of your own." When Hudson said this, we were pretty confused. The mysterious glint in his eyes also didn't help things. That's when I got the perfect plan of revenge on my head. Hudson was right. We did need to meet Mum. So, I pleaded with Keith to stay back with me and meet her. He was hesitant, but couldn't say no to me. Hudson then called and informed Mum that she could meet us at the house. The next morning, everything was going on as usual. It was just like when the three of us lived together. I got up, made breakfast with Keith's help, and ate it with Hudson before he left for work. After Hudson was gone, our waiting game began. Not an hour passed before the doorbell rang. I guess someone was getting a little too impatient to receive her karma. We opened the door, and there stood our mother. Yes, dear mother came back after 25 freaking years. She looked aged but was dressed in fashionable clothes. See anything of the mama knew when I was young? I looked at Keith and could tell that he was having similar thoughts. Carol simply brushed us aside and walked into the house. We were in utter disbelief. She said, "Hello there, children. I'm sure you have heard that I was in the city. What the hell are you doing here? What's your turn, Keith? I'm your mother, and you won't talk to me like that. You have some nerves showing up after 25 years and trying to parent us. Well, newsflash, Mum, we are not children anymore and not bound to listen to you. I can see just how rude and obnoxious you have become. I heard Hudson took care of you too. No wonder you two turned out like this. Thank God my children back home are not like you. Well then, why don't you go back? I refuse to believe you are here to show us motherly affection. I do need some assistance. Once you two will stop being so dramatic, I will tell you what you need to do." Keith and I were both pissed and agitated. Seeing her here after 25 years was painful and irritating at the same time. Her mere presence was annoying the hell out of us. What made us even more angry is the fact that we knew she came for something. She sought us out because she needed something from us. "Just tell us, Mum. What do you want?" "Well, now's the time. You should show me some respect. It's been a while, and I haven't had a good tour of the city. How do you think that concerns us? By all means, Carol, go take it all. No one is stopping you here. You're our mother. I deserve respect. It's your duty as my children to take care of my needs. You two ungrateful children have learned nothing. You don't deserve to be called our mum. You lost that right 25 years ago. Just because you gave birth to us doesn't mean you deserve the title. Also, we are not obliged to take care of your needs. Why don't you get your new family to help? This is the least they can do since you were so busy playing mother to them for 25 years. They are busy, and I don't want to disturb them. Now quickly, take me to my land. It has been waiting for me for 25 years. It's time I finally sell it and buy my stepchildren their dream houses." "Oh, so that's why you came back after all. Great. Then let's take you to see your land. I must say you will be very surprised. The price of the land has skyrocketed. I can do so much with the money, thank God. I didn't listen to your dead father and sold it back then. Thank God, right, Carol? You're right. You know, since you didn't sell this land back then, it did bring in a lot of money. I always know the best. Now shut up and take me there. I simply can't wait." Me and Keith looked at each other. I could tell that he didn't want to take Carol anywhere. However, I had the perfect plan in mind, so I told Keith, "Let's take her to the land since she flew back a long way. This is the least we can do for her." "You serious right now? You want us to take Carol to the land?" "Yeah. Don't you think it's time for her to see it? I mean, I'm sure she had been dreaming about selling the land and taking the money. That's when it hit Keith in the head. He understood why I wanted to drive Mum there. He was starting to have a mischievous look on his face. So after pretending to think for a while, he said, "All right then, come on, Carol. We will drive you there. You really must be excited to see the place after so many years." That's what a good child would say. Hurry up and drive me there. I have very little time on my hands. I need to return home after finalizing everything. Of course, Mum, let's go. We can't wait to take you to Dad's land. So the three of us buckled in and drove to the land. Mum was super happy and talked excitedly throughout the entire drive. We could tell that she couldn't wait to sell the land. We drove for about 30 minutes and reached the place. It was the land with a huge office building on it. As we stepped out of the car, Carol stared at us and looked confused. She said, "Why have you brought me here? What is this place? I want to see my land and not loiter around in some office complex." "Well, this is the land, Mom. Check the GPS and you will know this is exactly the place." "That's impossible. Who gave these people permission to build a building on my land? This is illegal." "Actually, we are the ones who gave them permission. Unfortunately for you, this land no longer belongs to you." No, this is not true. I am the owner of this land. You two cheated me and made profits on it. I will sue you." "We didn't cheat anyone, Mum. You are the one who decided to betray us. Dad left you this land so you could sell it and look after us. Instead, you abandoned us and made a new family with a rich man. All this while, you thought you could cheat us out of our rightful share. Thankfully, Dad always foresaw your schemes and added a secret clause in his will." "What do you mean?" "The will had a hidden clause that said if you abandoned us or didn't use the proceeds of the land for our care, you would be disinherited. You actually had a year to prove to the attorney that you were using the money on us. Well, we all know that never happened. Good for us. Dad thought so far ahead we were safe from being impoverished for life." "Yes, Mom always thought she was smart, but my father outsmarted her in the end. She didn't know about the hidden clause since she didn't bother to stay back. So now, on her precious land stands an office building that we made and rented out. Me, Keith, and Hudson are getting a handsome income out of it. Mom didn't understand what happened, so I said, Hudson took us in and raised us as his own. When we became 21, he helped us arrange the money to build this office complex. Now, we both earn plenty of money from this land, so we are glad you messed up and left everything to us. Don't worry, Mum, me, Thea, and Hudson are making some big money out of this place. It all worked out for us in the end. As for you, well, let's just say you missed your chance." Carol heard this and collapsed on the floor. She kept looking like a frightened woman and almost started to shake. She kept calling us traitors among other cuss words. That's when my uncle showed up. We had texted him about the whole ordeal and told him to meet us there with the inheritance papers. He walked up to us and said, "There is no need to call them names, Carol. If there is someone who deserves to be cussed out, it's actually you." "Little traitors. I know this is all your plan, Hudson. You never liked me in the past, so you took away my inheritance." "Nope, Carol, that is not right at all. First of all, I still dislike you very much and will continue to do so. Secondly, no one cheated you out of your inheritance. You were foolish enough to start running once the will said you would get the land." "Yes, the will said I would get the land. See, children, you have no right to use this land. I'll sue you. Now, there's no reason to get excited. This land was only promised to you if you actually sold it and took care of the kids. You didn't, so it went to the kids." "Lies. These are all lies. You lowlifes want to cheat me. I won't accept this. I want all the money and the land." "Well, why don't you just take a look at the inheritance papers? We saved them for you. I wanted to see your face when you finally found out about the hidden clause. Here, take a look." I took the papers from Hudson and showed them to Mum. She couldn't believe what was written in it. I also very graciously showed her exactly where the hidden clause was. Mum started to wail and cry out loud. She was throwing a tantrum in front of us. However, even the will didn't stop her from making threats. She kept saying that she would sue us. We simply left her there and went home. I later instructed security to drag her out. A few days passed, and both Keith and I received legal notices from a lawyer Mum hired. They wanted to meet up and talk about the issue. So, we met up at one of the empty spaces in the office building. It was like rubbing salt in the wound. Right on this land, Mum would find out just how stupid she was. When her lawyer read the will, he looked at Mum and straight away told her that there would be no case. He reprimanded Mum for wasting his time and walked out. Mum sat there looking lost and defeated. She said, "So you two were telling the truth? I had no idea about the hidden clause." "That's because you left as soon as the attorney read out your name for the land. If you had stayed longer, things would have been clearer for you." I am sorry for leaving you two. I wanted a complete family, and, dating with kids is hard. So I left. You did us a favor. We were much happier in our uncle's care. You couldn't have matched up to him. All you did was neglect us. I'm sorry. I will make it right. Please give me a chance. I cannot go back. Help me and send me money for plane tickets. They froze my account. What little money I had was spent on the lawyer. You made your bed, and now it's time to sleep in it. We won't help you. You are no one to us. We don't care if your new family doesn't want you back. We are not going to help. That's final. Don't think of contacting us again. Saying that, we just left. Neither I nor Keith felt terrible for her. She simply didn't deserve our sympathy. We walked away and decided not to look back. A few days passed, and we went back to our own homes. We heard from Hudson that she had shown up at his house begging for help. She also begged to meet us and make it right. Right then, Hudson informed her that we went back to our own homes and wouldn't be indulging her delusions anymore. He also promised to tell her to leave before he called the police. I later heard from some of Mum's old friends that she even asked them for help. Apparently, her new children wanted nothing to do with her since their dad had decided to divorce her. They knew she would have no money. Mum was begging for some help so that she could fly back home. They blocked her and moved on as well. Hudson, being the sweet person he is, did ask us if he should send her money for the flight. We told him not to bother, and she absolutely deserved this treatment. It's been a few months since everything went down. We haven't heard from our mum in a while. For the longest time, she tried to contact us from multiple numbers and begged for help. She said that she was back home somehow, but was homeless with a pending divorce. We never responded to her. Eventually, the texts and calls stopped. Now, we have both left her behind and are living our life surrounded by people who actually love us.